Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. This week's video is dedicated to my Aunt Chani, to her son Sholi, and his wife Brani upon the wedding of their son Machi. Mazel tov to you, your whole family should go from one simcha to the next. Also dedicated has a refuah shlem for Yisrael Amichai ben Sarah. In this week's parsha, the Torah tells us V'lo sesuru achrei levavchem ve'achrei einechem. Asher atem zonim achareim. You should not stray after your heart, after your eyes, in which you look to follow. Now, this happens to be one of what's called the Six Constant Mitzvos. The six mitzvos that a person can do at any time of the day, just even by thinking about them. So this is not a class on the Six Constant Mitzvos, but I will run through them quickly to get to this last one that we just mentioned. The first one is to know that there is a God. The second one is to not believe in any other God. Another one is what's called Ichad Hashem, to know that that Hashem is one. He's the only one. Like we say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. He's the one and only one, the only one that actually has intrinsic existence, like Maimonides explains. The fourth one is to love Hashem. The fifth one is to be in awe of Hashem or to fear Hashem. Both are correct translations, as both of them are applicable. And then the sixth one is not to stray after your eyes and after your hearts, or after your heart and after your eyes. Meaning, when a person strays after their hearts and their eyes, that's when they're tempted to sin. They look at the wrong things, they're thinking about the wrong things. That's when that's really when a person's actions get put into motion, that's when he or she comes to sin. So the question is, Rabbi Yitzchak Berkowitz asked this question and gave a phenomenal answer. The question that he asked was, what exactly is the sixth one? If a person is looking where he's not supposed to, then he's violating the aforementioned to have fear of Hashem, or that he's not loving Hashem. If you're going to do a sin, you're actually lacking in your love of Hashem or in your fear of Hashem. So why is there a room for this last of the six of the constant mitzvos of not straying after your hearts and after your eyes? If it's a sin, and it's already, you're not fulfilling the fourth and the fifth one. So he answers as follows. He said there's a difference between the intellectual understanding and then there's putting it into play. Meaning, if a person masters the first five, so that they know Hashem, they love Hashem, they believe in Hashem, there is no other Hashem, everything about it is there is Hashem. So how is it possible that they can sin? So he explains, Rabbi Berkowitz Shlita, that the sixth one happens to a person when they allow themselves to get emotionally pulled away. What happens? For example, let's say somebody likes to drink alcohol. They get drunk. Now, they take upon themselves, that's it, I'm not drinking. So what happens? They go into a bar. Now, once they go into a bar, they've lost. Because the alcohol, everybody around them, you can lose. If a person says, I'm never watching bad, dirty movies. So what's going to happen the second he walks into a room where there's a bad, dirty movie playing? He's probably going to watch, meaning he lets his guard down. And when a person lets his guard down, that's the beginning of the end. And we see this as well. If you're reading an incredible, great book, great story, sad story, it's fiction, but somehow when it gets to the sad part, you find yourself crying. Why is that? You know logically that it's fake. You know that there's no real princess or no real person that's about to die or lost her father or whatever the story is. So why are you crying? The answer is that you're allowing your emotions to be at the forefront of your mind. You're allowing your emotions to take over your mind. Basically, you're allowing yourself to get distracted. This sixth commandment is not to follow your eyes after your hearts. It's basically saying, don't allow yourself to become distracted. When you become distracted, that blocks the first five mitzvos of the six constant mitzvos. And therefore, this mitzvah is saying you have to keep the integrity of those five by making sure where you go, what you look at, the people that you're with, don't let your guard down. Have a great Shabbos. Thank you for listening.